Hello, good afternoon, everyone. How are you today? This is Ifama Odunlami, immigration attorney from the Odunlami Law Firm in New Jersey. How's everyone doing? I have a great topic for you today. So I'm going to wait for people to join me and then we can get started. And please, as you join, check into the comment side and say hello. Excuse me. Tell me where you're joining in from. And then if you have any questions at the end of my little presentation, feel free to ask your questions. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube. And so when you see me looking at different cameras, is because I just want to give each platform a little FaceTime. All right. So hi, Olo Olobayo Diamond, how are you? Olobayo Diamonds is in New Jersey. Yay, New Jersey. So, guys, I have a great topic today, and Lashana Hollingsworth is from Brooklyn, New York in the house. Hi, you guys. Such a pleasure to come here to talk about immigration stuff because I love immigration. I love talking about immigration. I love helping fellow immigrants to get legal status because I am an immigrant. So is my mother. So are my brother. So is my brother, my sisters, all of us. And it is through, filing paperwork and getting our status legal. That's how we became immigrants. None of us were born in this country. So we all came in here. So what you're going through, we've been through it. And this anxiety that comes from being an immigrant, I get it. I get it. I really do. So, guys, I'm going to talk about Special Immigrant Juvenile Status. You know, I love my humanitarian-based immigration. I'm talking of VAWA, U visa, T visa, SIJS. Now, this types of reliefs and pathway to citizenship, as I've talked about, really have to do with people who they don't necessarily have a family member who's going to file for them, so they're doing it on their own based on some qualification. So today I want to talk about SIJS, and let me introduce myself for those who do not know me. My name is Ifama Odunlami. I'm an immigration attorney in New Jersey, but we serve clients in all 50 states because immigration is federal law. However, SIJS is a really weird construct of law because part of it takes place in family court and the other part takes place in immigration in with USCIS. So I want to talk about SIJS. I haven't talked about it in a minute, but it's something that's really dear to me because it helps young people who are typically under the age of 21 or maybe under the age of 18 because it depends on the state. It varies. In New Jersey and in New York and in some other states such as Maryland, Massachusetts, and I hear now in Texas, which is a good thing. I hear that now that the age is 21. So I'm going to give you how you can qualify or how your child can qualify to get a green card through SIJS. So SIJS stands for Special Immigrant Juvenile Status. And for those who qualify, the person has to be under 18 or under 21, depending on what state they live in. Now, I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of New York and New Jersey because I'm licensed to practice in New York and in New Jersey, and I do a lot of family petitions, the family portion of the SIJS. I do a lot of that here in New York and in New Jersey. So for you to qualify, number one, that child under the age of 21 must be present in the United States. Because I guess I get questions from people who are abroad saying, can they qualify for SIJS? No, not if you're abroad. You have to be present in the United States. So that helps people who are unaccompanied minors, or people who are here on B1 or B2 visas, or here on F1 visas, or here without any legal status, came through the border. It doesn't matter. All you need to show is that you're present in here, that you are single, not married, that you are under the certain age, which I said 18 in some states or 21, And then this is key. You have to show that you've been abused, abandoned, or neglected by at least one parent. So what this means is it doesn't have to be both parents doing the abuse, the abandoning, or the neglect. It can be just one parent, right? And this is really important because people think that you have to have been abused, abandoned, or neglected by both parents. No, as a matter of fact, a lot of the cases are being brought by one parent against the other parent, right? So you have to show there's been abuse, abandonment, or neglect. And let me go through what abuse means, abandonment, or neglect. And now these three, or some others, or what they call a similar basis under the law, right? Now, the construct of abuse, abandonment, or neglect really depends on case law, which depends on your state. So from New York and from New Jersey, where I'm licensed to practice, abuse means physical abuse, could be emotional abuse, could be psychological abuse, it could be verbal abuse. Abuse falls, there are many different ways a child can be abused. And when I say a child, I mean somebody under the age of 21, right? The abuse could have happened here in the United States, or it could have happened abroad. It could have happened in your home country, and you're here in the United States, and you can talk about what you went through. Maybe you were living with your parents, and maybe say your father never took care of you, didn't maybe he was physical, because I'm going to get to neglect. So let's call it abuse. Maybe he was physical, maybe he hit you, maybe he made you feel bad. I had a client who's gay, and his parents really treated him badly because he came out to them. That's abuse, right? So abuse, you have to be able to discuss the abuse that you went through, right? And I know a lot of people from other countries think that when their parents hit them is not abuse. In the United States, corporal punishment is abuse, right? And so when you do the affidavit, which is your statement talking about what you went through, you want to talk about what you've been through. Now, neglect. What is neglect? Is a failure to meet up to a duty of parenting. And parents fail to meet up to this duty when they're not providing food, shelter, or educational resources to a child. So if you have a parent who is not taking care of you, not providing food, not providing shelter, and just not, or looking the other way when another parent is being abusive, failure to protect, that's neglect, right? And then abandonment could be the parent just is not in your life, has never been in your life, or has not called, has not checked up on you, is allowing other people to basically take care of you without, any kind of agreed upon arrangement. In New Jersey and in New York, abandonment can be the death of a parent. So if a parent dies, abandonment is that could be abandonment, right? Because that parent is not there to take care of the child, right? So the third thing you have to prove is that you have been abused, abandoned, or neglected by at least one parent, right? Now, the fourth criteria is you have to show that the reunification is not viable based on the abuse, the abandonment, or the neglect. So that child it will not be wise for that child to be reunified with the parent based on this abuse, abandonment, or neglect. Now, the fifth thing you need to show in an SIJ here case is you have to show that the child is better off in the United States. Basically, this child should not be sent back to their country because they're better off here. And it's not difficult to show that you're better off in the United States. Educationally, in most countries, there's they don't have a good educational system, or maybe the child were to go back, there's nobody to take care of that child in their country. Maybe all the family members are here, or maybe in that country there's war, there's unrest. Like in Nigeria, we talk about a lot about the quality of the education, right? Because a lot of times students are being sent home because there's some kind of strike or something, and so they're not able to complete their education. And so clearly they're better off here in the United States, where they can get really great education. So those are the criteria that you have to meet. SIJS SIJS cases are two parts. So the first part is in family court. So you file a brief with the certifications of the guardian who is asking to be the guardian for the child. That guardian can be the other parent, the non-abusive, non-offending parent. It could be an institution, like it could be DCPP, Child Welfare Services, or it could be somebody who's not even related to the child at all, right? But they just have to be willing to, show that they want to be the guardian of the child. They want to take care of the child, and they promise to provide for the child food, shelter, emotional support, whatever it is, until this child is able to provide for themselves, right? So you go to immigration, to family court, you file the paperwork, you get a court hearing, and then there is an actual hearing before a judge, and the case, after the case is heard, the judge is supposed to produce something called a predicate order, right? Now, when you get a predicate order, with a predicate order, you can now file the Form I-360 with immigration, right? And so when you file the form with immigration, with the I-360, there is no filing fee. But if you have to file an adjustment of status at the same time with it, then the adjustment of status, the Form I-485, has a filing fee, which is $1,225. However, I need to note that until recently, the priority date for most countries was current. So we could do a one-step filing. We could file the I-360 and we could file the I-485-765-131, I-864W at the same time. But in the past few months, the priority date is no longer current. So you have to file the I-360 first. And then when your priority date is current, you file the I-485 package. Now, the good news is this. Last year, I think it was May, I think sometime in March, but it became effective May 2022, because of the backlog in the SIJS approval cases, especially in the Northern Triangle countries, Mexico, Nicaragua, and such countries. There are kids who have been approved for SIJS, but they're just waiting in limbo, waiting until their priority date is reached before they can file for adjustment of status and get a work permit. So what the new law that was passed was that, once the SIJS is approved, that person, that minor, can apply for a work permit without having to wait to file for the I-485. So that's really, really great. So the other question I have is, who are the people who can qualify for SIJS? I mentioned people who are here, on a visa or no visa. So you can be here on a B2 visa, you can be here on an F1 visa, you could have come through the border. You can even be in immigration court. See, that's a great thing about SIJS. You can apply for SIJS affirmatively, right? Or you can apply for it defensively when you're in the immigration court. So you can still get your relief and your pathway to citizenship, regardless of whether or not you're in immigration court. So that's really, really great. So does anybody have any questions I can assist with? So, the thing about this is, if you want to file SIJS, or if you have a child who qualifies, you really want to get in and file as soon as possible, because family court has its own calendar. So I've seen people who come in 3 weeks before they turn 21, and it's in some counties, like in Essex County, forget it. You're not getting a court date before then, right? Now, there's some counties that will take that into consideration and try to, rush your case so that you can get your hearing before you turn 21. But don't rely on that, because it's not really their job to do that. So I always tell people, if you're 20 years and 6 months, you really should have filed your SIJS, your petition in family court for your SIJS case, because immigration must have that petition in their hands before you turn 21. Not mailed by, they must receive it before you turn 21. Okay? So let's see. So I have a couple of questions here. Let me answer it. So Sophia on Instagram says, if someone hasn't gotten work permit for 9 months through VAWA, is it normal? So, Sophia, normal is whatever USCIS says it is. It's not abnormal. Let's put it that way, because you can get your work permit anytime from 4 months to 10 months, 11 months, 12 months. The average, 4 months to 10 months. But people get it after. I've had a client who got it a month after a year. I've had clients who got it like within a couple of months, like 28 days, whatever. So what is normal depends on where you're filing from. I would say not to really worry if you haven't gotten your work permit. But something you could do is you could do an expedited request if you're in danger of losing getting kicked out of where you live, or there's some kind of emergency. Maybe you can try an expedited filing. That might help. How do you do that? Give them a call, the 800 number, and tell them you want to do an expedited work permit request, and they'll give you instructions on what to do. So let's see, anybody else? Sophia, I hope that answered your question. And Rodolfo Gonzalez says, has a consultation any cost? Yes, Rodolfo, we have a cost for our consultation. It's $200. And you can call the office and book a consultation, or you can go to the website, www.odunlamilaw.com, and book a consultation, or you can just call 24/7. If nobody's in the office, we have an answering service that will take that consultation and schedule you for a consultation with me or Attorney Talitha. There are 2 attorneys in my firm. So is that it, everyone? This is a good time to ask questions, because you guys come to my DM and ask all these questions, and I really want to put these questions out there so that everybody can benefit from it. And so please share, like, and follow, because you'd be surprised that there's so many people who do not have this information. Nothing really breaks my heart as much as a child who could qualify for SIJS, who now comes at age of 22 and says, oh, I'd like, what can I do? And I know that they qualify, but they've too old, so it's really important for people to know, to have this information, because knowledge is power. I say that all the time. Knowledge is power. So if you don't need this information for yourself, somebody else out there might need it that you don't know. So go ahead and follow, share, like, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact my firm, 973-993-1900. So I'm done for today, and I will be back next week. Take care.